Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Live at 5. Today is Wednesday, March 15th, and we are talking about how to go from feeling hopeless to feeling hopeful. So, couple things. I just want to make sure that I'm live in the group. So if you're jumping on here live, feel free to ask questions, to share where you are in the process of the protocol. We just came off of last month doing a free workshop where I took you through the entire protocol. Now I want to go a little different. I want to address something a little bit different because I can give you all the information in the world about the protocol, what to eat, what not to eat, when to drink celery juice, when not to. But there's another component to this that is so vital to your healing. Even though the protocol seems very simple and it seems very straightforward, and for the most part it is on the physical level, and what we put inside of our bodies, it's very straightforward. The lemon water, here's the whole protocol: the lemon water, the celery juice, the heavy metal detox smoothie, gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, and the right supplements, right? And it's all medical medium information and experience from me and my clients over the years. It's very straightforward. And even though the protocol is the same for everybody, every single person has to do it differently. And you don't know, and you won't know until you start doing it. We talk a lot about the peaks and the valleys and understanding what your body is going through, so that when you're going through a valley, which you will, that's part of the healing process, you don't get discouraged and you don't think that you're heading into or are in an exacerbation, when really it's just the detox symptoms, which feel exactly like an exacerbation. And because we all have PTSD from the neurologist, from our experiences with paralysis, from the shit we went through with our family, because we're all experiencing PTSD, when we feel like we're going into an exacerbation or that we're having one, our mind gets the best of us. And then that can prevent us from ever getting out of that trench and staying there. So what I want to do is I want to give you the information that you need to create a new story in your head. So what am I talking about when I talk about a story? Because when you hear story, you think, drama or romance, or I'm talking about the thoughts in our head that make up the story of who we are. So Janine's story is she's a mother, she's a wife. Again, she's second time married. See, I got a story in my head about what that means. So you get it. Like, we have these stories in our heads that we create, and we have a perception of whether they're positive or they're negative. So I want to take you through what I think is the most important part of this protocol. It's not the celery juice. It's not the lemon water. It's not any one component. It's not even the physical stuff that you're doing putting inside your body. I want to give you, oh, hello. I'm sorry. The comments are coming through. Hello, everyone. And thank you for signing on. Let me see who's on here. Oh, Sabrina, Cynthia. Hi, Natalie. Thank you for being on here. The reason why this topic came up for me is because of the coaching group that we meet every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And I've been doing this for a couple of years now. And I'm noticing a pattern. What I didn't realize, clients just recently told me, I have no idea. Like, I don't leave this bubble right here. I had no idea that there are more success stories in Minding Your Soul on the Path to Healing on the Starve, Kill, Detox protocol than there are in any other MS healing protocol. Matt Embry, Terry Walls. Now, I don't know if that's fact. I have no idea, but this is what my clients are saying. And they're also saying that, and I asked them, I said, why do you think that is? Because if you look at all the other protocols, we're all doing the same thing. We're all doing the same thing. But what I think, I'm going to go back to the story because I have to give a little backstory. What I think is going on is that when these protocols came out, Terry Walls, Matt Embry, all of them at the Coimbra, when they come out, they say, here, do this. This will make you healthy. I think what they fail to focus on is the process that took them to the final stages where they said, here, do this. This will make you healthy. This will get rid of your symptoms. I went through hell trying to figure out how to heal my body. And I didn't have the language back then to understand peaks and valleys. I didn't understand what was happening to me. So when I would go into a valley, which was my body detoxing, whether it was the physical detox or the emotional detox, it would feel like an exacerbation. And I would beat myself up and I'd go, oh, what am I doing? I should have just listened to the neurologist. I can't believe I did this. I would stay in that trench for months and claw my way out. And that's why I understand the journey of getting to doing the entire protocol is exactly that. It's a journey, it's a process, it's an evolution. You cannot, should not start the protocol and say, I'm going to start it tomorrow. I'm going to do everything perfectly. There's no way that any human can do that. You don't just wake up and change. You evolve into that. And I think if the other MS protocols, I think they would be a lot more successful if they really focused on what it took to transition your lifestyle in every aspect, in the gluten-free, all the diet, the mental, the lifestyle changes that you have to make, how to address your family and the shitheads and the shitty things that they say. It's so important to understand what that process is so that you don't go into a trench and you don't feel hopeless. I'll give you another example. Let's say you went to the gym and you were working with a personal trainer and you said, okay, I want to drop 20 pounds. I want to be very lean. I want you to see all of my muscles and I want to be able to wear clothes, any type of clothes, and feel confident in them. They say, okay, well, let's get started on a workout routine and we're going to lift heavy weights. And you went there, let's say every day. And after 3 weeks, you're like, I don't feel or see any changes. And they said, oh, well, you will in a couple years, just stay at it. What? A couple years? No fucking way. We all need that instant gratification. And your body actually gives you that instant gratification because it responds so quickly to all the things that you do. Now, you will get that instant gratification in the beginning because your body will come to life when you start the protocol and you'll feel like, oh my God, this is amazing. I can't believe this. I have moments of clarity. I have moments of energy. But then what happens is, and this is where when we talk about mitigating the valleys and mitigating those peaks and valleys so the valleys aren't so low, this is where when going into a valley, that is caused by killing the virus too quickly. And it has to come out of the body, and getting it out of the body requires a lot of energy and a lot of resources, and you feel like shit while you're going through it. If you don't know that, if you don't realize that you're actually just detoxing and stick with it, don't worry. This is just detoxing and this will pass. And when it passes, your peak is going to be there and your baseline of energy is going to be even higher than it was when you started. If you don't realize that, it's going to feel like an exacerbation and you're going to feel as though you're getting worse, nothing's ever going to work, and you're going to go right into the hopelessness because the story that's in your head is, I'm getting worse, my symptoms aren't going away, I'll never heal. Because that's the only information you've ever been told. These are MS symptoms, and this is how you're going to feel. So when you start this healing journey and you start feeling the decline, the detoxing, and going into that valley, your mind plays that story. It plays that story. You have to change the story in order to change your thoughts, in order to change the emotions, and in order to change your symptoms. How do you change the story? You can't change the story with the same information that created the story. Let me say that again. You cannot change the story with the same information that created the story. You have to give yourself new information. You have to constantly be researching, why am I feeling this way? What is going on? If you jump into anything and you don't know the ins and the outs and what to expect, well then, if you don't know what to expect, your brain's going to make up a story. And most likely, 99% of the time, it's going to be a negative one. But you can combat that with the new information that you obtained before you went into the protocol. Because it's all about the story in our heads that we create, that create our thoughts, that create our emotions, that are then responsible for our symptoms. If you go the other way around and start with the symptoms and say, oh no, I have these symptoms, and then that creates emotions, you start feeling, oh no, shit, what did I do, right? And then the thoughts are, I'm going to get worse, I'm never going to get better. And now that's the story in your head. Do you see that loop? You can either go clockwise or counterclockwise. So I actually want to show you, if you have any questions, I'm checking right now. Oh, hello, everyone. Thank you for saying hello. I'm so glad you're all on here. It's so much nicer talking to people, and I get, like, I calm down. I feel like I'm more personable, and I'm like, okay, people are here. You should see me trying to do a TikTok. Like, you have to record yourself. And since I'm not talking to a person, like, I can't do it. You would think that I would be confident in making these videos about, information that I talk about all the time. No, if I'm not talking to a person, it just comes off as just weird. So anyway, all right. I want to, Brandon Grace says, that's good. Tell me what's good. What just resonated with you? While you're typing that, I want to share my screen because I want to show you the exact graphic of what your brain goes through when you're telling yourself a story. Because once we know this, and last time I did this when I was on the workshop, you guys couldn't hear me. So I just want to make sure, if you guys, while I'm sharing my screen, if you guys can let me know, where's my Canva? There it is. All right. If you guys can let me know whether or not you can hear me, that would be great, because I did this on the workshop and I think I talked for 10 minutes without looking at the comments, and you couldn't hear anything I was saying. Okay. So do you see this graphic right here? That's you in the middle. The story is up here. So here's the story. The story creates the thoughts. So here we are, we're going clockwise. The story creates the thoughts, which then create emotions, and that's what affects your symptoms. You have to create your story. You have to know the story. You have to be the creator of your story. Because Mary, thank you so much. You can hear me. Okay, thank you. All right, so you have to be the creator of your story. You have to know the information, what is real and what is not, because your thoughts are not always your reality. Your thoughts are not always your own. You were the observer of your thoughts. So here you go. We're going to go counterclockwise. You have a story in your head. It creates the thoughts. The thoughts create the emotions. I feel sad. I feel shameful. I feel hopeless. How are your emotions going to be? They're going to be sad. You're going to be crying. There's going to be, a negative energy just come over you. What do you think that is going to do the way your body feels, the symptoms that you're having? Okay, so that's the clockwise story here, right? You start with the story, because let's do another clockwise. If your story is negative, like we just went through, what happens if it's positive? You have a great story. You know exactly what's going on. You know exactly why you're in a trench right now, what it feels like, and that you're actually healing and not in an exacerbation, right? That's your story in your head, because you've done your research. You know what's going on. Then the thoughts back up that story and go, yeah, exactly. You know what? Janine said this is going to be a trench. She said it's going to feel like an exacerbation. This is normal. I'm fine. I'm not having an exacerbation. I'm actually healing. Then what are your emotions going to be? Emotions are going to be positive and happy, and you're going to be excited. Even though you feel like shit, you're going to be excited because you know you're healing. You're not getting worse. You're actually healing. What is that going to do to your symptoms? That's going to make them better, because Matt Rowe talks about this a lot, and I'm going to try to say it. Let me go back and stop sharing here so I can see you guys. So how do I stop? Oh, there we go. Okay. So why is it so important that this, right, is in the right place? What they discovered, and Matt's been teaching this, he's part of the Path to Healing group, so I've heard this a couple of times now. If I can repeat it intelligently, let's see. Every cell in our body has molecules. Every molecule is made up of an atom. They finally figured out, science finally found what was inside the atom, what is in the center of the atom. And they found that there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. It's just vibrating energy, air, space. There's nothing inside of an atom. So what they figured out was that vibration of the energy inside of that atom is directly linked to your thoughts, directly. Every single cell in your body, whether it's the eyeball, your brain, your heart, a toenail, every single cell has molecules. Every molecule has an atom. Inside every atom is space, vibrating space. That vibration inside of that atom is directly related to your thoughts. So when you're thinking, I'm healing when you know you're healing. I'm doing great. You know what? I'm in a valley right now, but that's okay because I know my body is detoxing and you're in a good, positive space. What do you think that vibration, that frequency is inside of your cells? It's high. It's a high vibration. When you're vibrating at a high frequency, and this is all science, things on the same frequency are attracted to you. And then all of a sudden the filters kind of get lifted off and you go, oh, wow, life is pretty good. Holy shit, I can't believe that happened to me today. I was so lucky. I ran into that person. Good shit happens to you naturally because you are vibrating at a very high frequency. Now, what happens when you don't have the right information and your brain is consumed with, holy fuck, I'm getting more symptoms. I'm getting worse. I'm never going to get better. I'm going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. I'm not going to be able to raise my kids. My daughter just fell in front of me and I couldn't get to her. These are mine. These are what I used to deal with. What do you think happens inside of your body to all of those cells? All of those cells are now vibrating on that negative energy that was created by your thought. Your vibration is brought down. What do you think that does to your symptoms? What do you think is going to be attracted to you then? It's not going to be anything positive. Do your research on this. Do your research on what happens inside your body when you have positive thoughts and when you have negative thoughts. Now, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. There's a lot of different ways. You can use affirmations. You could use a lot of different things. For me, affirmations take a really long time because I can say all I want. I am beautiful. Okay, I don't really believe that. So it's going to be really hard for me. I'm going to have to say that a lot in order to believe it. So I go about it a different way. Information. Why do I want to be beautiful? I don't really want to be beautiful. I want to be smart. I want to be intelligent. I want to be respected. Those are the things that are going to make me feel beautiful. You can do a whole thing of makeup on my face. I don't care. I need to feel good about myself, and I feel good about myself when I'm helping other people, when I'm researching and learning new things. It's not so much for me, the affirmation, it's more the information. I need information in my brain that's going to change my thoughts. Now, what is something that is going to slow down the healing besides let's talk about the negative feelings. Where do you, do you? Thank you. I appreciate that. Jessica says, I love how you explain this shit, Janine. I really appreciate that because sometimes when I'm explaining shit, why is my daughter's school calling? It's probably about the SATs. All right, sorry. I feel like when I'm explaining this shit, like I'm not like saying exactly what I want to say. I'm trying to paint the picture for you guys, the picture that's in my head. So I really appreciate that you're getting this, Jessica. Thank you. Because this is the first time I'm talking about this on a live at 5. So normally after I talk about it a few times, I get better at, I should have said this and I should have said that. And I write the shit down and I practice it. I didn't do that for this one. I didn't even have time to prepare for this one. I was holding a sleeping child 10 minutes ago, hence the sweatshirt and the still wet hair. Anyway, I want to talk about resistance. Resistance is what's going to slow down your healing and is what's going to make it harder for you to think in a positive way and easier for you to think in a negative way. What is resistance? All right. And I've learned this. I started researching this and I've learned this through the consultations that I have. There are certain type of people. I see questions. I'm going to get back to them in just a second. There are certain type of people who, when they come in and they request a consultation, we get on Zoom and they just talk for 25 minutes. They just talk and talk and talk. And they just want to tell me what they think is the problem. And they don't even ask me, what could they be doing differently? They just say, that. And I feel so much resistance from them because they might ask a question towards the end and I'll give them the information about the virus and that, and they just dispute it. And they say, no, that's not it. That's not what the neurologist says. And I'm like, okay, well, that's, your prerogative to think that. I'm just here to give you the information. So the resistance that I feel from them, they have a story in their head. This is the way it is, and they're not open to hearing. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to do it, but be open to hearing another way because you may resonate with it. It may be for you or it may not be for you. Trying to remove as much resistance as possible is what is going to keep our cells vibrating on that positive vibration. The resistance is very easy to recognize because it's our thoughts. It's our thoughts of no, not just the I know better. It's why is he doing that? Why is she doing that? I should be doing this. I should have gotten more done today. Why is this happening in my life? This sucks. Da da da. All of those thoughts, you're resisting any of the information from coming into your mind. You're not open. And the only reason why I can talk about this is because I have worked for years to be open and to hear different perspectives. And it showed up, and I was able to do it in my healing journey from MS. And I thought, okay, I'm good. I got this. But then I got married for a second time after being single for 10 years. And no, I still have a lot to learn about resistance and being open, a lot to learn. And I'm going through all of that again in this relationship. And it's bringing up, it's triggering me back to when I was healing. And I'm thinking, I need to tell everybody in minding your soul about this, because this can fuck you up so bad and so fast. But as long as you're aware of what's going on in your head, then you have options. When you're not aware of what's going on in your head and you think you're just looking at reality and this is just the way it is and nothing can change, that is rigid, that is resistant, that is not open. So I'm not saying that you have to make any changes whatsoever with what's going on in your head. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But I want you to know that you have options. That was my whole thing going up until now. Up until I started this coaching practice, I never felt like I had options because I was so sick for so long. And I felt like this is it. This is my life, until I started to heal. And then I'm like, oh my God, I have options. Now I want options everywhere. I just want you to know that you have options. If you don't want to change anything, you don't have to change anything. But the peace comes in knowing that you made that choice. You are where you are because you want to be there. So when we recognize that we do not own our thoughts, we are really most of the time not even the creator of our thoughts. Thoughts come in from everywhere, from different energies that are around us, from different things that we heard, different people. We are constantly creating stories, and most of those stories have been programmed subconsciously. So what's the 95%, I think Matt says, 95% of our actions come from our subconscious thoughts, right? So only 5% of our thoughts are conscious thoughts that we're actually aware of. So you're like, great, Janine, so I'm going to work on changing the 5%. Well, yeah, that's important too. But here's the trick to understanding what's running in your subconscious mind. You can't unzip your face, open it up, look in your subconscious mind and go, oh, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Or that's why I'm having difficulty doing the things that I want. It's because we can't unzip and look inside. We have another way of understanding what our subconscious is thinking, and so that we know or can choose what we want to change about that, is through our actions. Watch how you respond to people. Watch how you respond to anybody in your life. If it is a reaction, if you're having a big emotion, a big reaction, it's not actually from your conscious thinking. It's actually from a subconscious trigger, a past trauma. When somebody says something to you that causes such a large reaction, negative, positive, whatever, you are being triggered, and that is coming from your subconscious. That's how you're going to understand what is running in your subconscious mind, by watching your reactions. So many of us are just walking around this planet, myself included many years ago, walking around this planet, having our reactions, having our emotions, and we're thinking, well, that's just our personality. That's just because of the way I was raised. I can't change any of that. That's just who I am. It's actually not. It is just the symptoms, right? The byproduct, I should say, the byproduct of all the programming that went in there throughout our entire lives. You can reprogram that. And the first step is just being aware of what you're thinking, right? And being aware of how you're reacting. So if you have this huge emotional negative reaction to something, that's your first clue, your key to go, oh, this is a trigger. This is coming from my subconscious. Okay, what could possibly be in there that is causing me to react this way? Because think about it. It's not actually what they said. If if you take what they said that caused that big reaction from you, and they said it to somebody else who had completely different experiences than you, a completely different person, that person might laugh it off or literally think it's funny or think it's no big deal and go, why are you reacting like that? That's not a big deal. But to you, it was the biggest deal. Why? Understand that once you recognize that these reactions are coming from subconscious programming that you had very little, if anything, to do with, that's when you can start reprogramming things. For example, and again, all this work that I've been doing, I was doing it while I was healing unknowingly, and now I'm consciously doing it in my second marriage, because I'll tell you what, this marriage is going to, I shouldn't say that. This marriage is very challenging. Okay. Second time around, I thought it was going to be a lot better. Extremely challenging. But then again, I threw a baby in there. So, what was I expecting? Anyway, so I am so much more aware now of my reactions to what my husband does, and my reaction to it and the feelings associated. So a good example is, I didn't know that I had abandonment issues, serious abandonment and attachment issues. I would feel like he was leaving me, like he was choosing something other than me every time we went to the gym. Every time we went to the gym, I'd be like, I wouldn't say this to him, I knew better, but I would feel like he doesn't love me. If he loved me, he wouldn't leave me. Why does he choose the gym over me? Then I started going, what the fuck are those thoughts? Why are you thinking that? He's just going to the gym. It's a healthy thing to do. He did it before he met you. It has nothing to do with you. And I started going, where the hell did that? Why are these? I would cry when he left for the gym. And I'm a very independent person. I just took it so personally. And I was shocked by that. So that's when I did the work of, where the hell is this coming from? I had no idea I had abandonment issues. So I worked through what abandonment issues are. How do you heal them? How do you face them? Now it's so much different. He can leave for the gym and I'll be absolutely fine. Sometimes I won't though. Sometimes old shit will pop up and I'll go, oh, okay, there's my old shit again. I cannot tell you how much I did this while I was healing, be aware of my thoughts, and then thought, okay, where are they coming from? I didn't know that was the work that I needed to do in order to understand that when I'm in a valley, those thoughts are created by my post-traumatic stress that was created by my neurologist and tell me I'm never going to walk again, and I'm going to be in a wheelchair, and I'll never be able to take care of my kids by myself, and I'm going to be stuck married to my husband, my first husband, for the rest of my life. No choices, sadness, death sentence immediately. So as I'm trying to heal and I'm doing things that are detoxing my body, and my body's feeling worse and my leg goes numb, I'm like, oh, how can I be in a wheelchair? I'm never going to be able to take care of my kids. I'm getting worse. I should have listened to right away. When we become aware of our thoughts and we go, whoa, Janine, just fucking hold on a second. Why are you feeling this way? Physically, why are you feeling this way? Okay, well, I just drank a shit ton of celery juice. And if I remember what the medical medium said, that kills the virus on contact. Oh, and he also said about the dead virus. Okay, right. So I'm trying to get rid of the dead virus. Oh, okay. So maybe that's why you're feeling like shit. Why don't you give it 3 days? And in 3 days, if you don't feel any better, then you can freak the fuck out. Okay. But give yourself 3 days before you freak out. I'd be like, all right, fine, but I'm freaking the fuck out on the third day. Right. And so that's how I learned, not through any other material. It's so much easier now that we have Matt Rowe. That's how I learned that I'm in control of my thoughts. I am in control of my thoughts. The more information that I gave my brain so that I didn't go down that spiral, then slowly I began to heal. This is why I focus so much on this in this group, in the healing, in the Path to Healing group coaching. It's not just about the protocol. It's understanding that everything you do to heal yourself is going to happen in a process, and it's going to happen in an evolution. And you're going to look back and go, wow, I made a shit ton of changes. That was awesome. But you're going to do those shit ton of changes over time, so it doesn't overwhelm your brain, right? Your emotions and your body. We always talk about don't overwhelm your body with the die-off, the dead virus. Well, what about overwhelming your emotional state by going, okay, I have to buy the celery, I have to do the lemon juice, oh, the wild blueberries for the heavy metal detox smoothie, oh, the spirulina, I have to get the spirulina. Oh, no, that's the quickest way to fuck this up. Sorry for my language today. The quickest way to fuck this up. What you want to do is take everything slowly and give yourself grace. No one else is going to give you grace. And if they do, you're very lucky. And say thank you to them. You have to give yourself grace, and you have to say, I am going to do this in a manner that is not going to overwhelm my body, and it's not going to overwhelm my mind either, because I need my mind. I need it for me, and I need it for all the people around me. Maybe you have little humans around you who need you. You can't overwhelm yourself. You have to give yourself grace. And I swear to God, how many times do I say this? If that means eating ice cream for breakfast, well, then you freaking do it. You don't feel like doing that celery juice that morning, you freaking eat the ice cream for breakfast, because that is going to do more for your soul than that celery juice is going to do for your virus. And your happy soul and your happy thoughts and your positive vibrations inside of your cells are going to do more to kill that virus than any amount of celery juice. So do you see how it all comes together? I'm so emotional this week, I could cry. I wish I had this. I just wish I had somebody to tell me these things, because as I'm sitting here, I look at myself on the screen. I should look at the camera, but I don't. I look at myself, because every single time I do a live at 5, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself in the past who needed this freaking coach, and she didn't have one. And I didn't need someone to give me typed up instructions on what to do. I needed someone to walk me through the emotional process, because that's the hardest part of all of it. Healing is not easy. No part of healing is easy. And think about it. When we're going through our peaks and our valleys, right? The valleys is when the healing is happening. The peaks are when we are experiencing the effects of the valleys. The valleys are when the healing is happening. Now, put that in emotional terminology. Right? When we're going through the really hard shit, the hard lessons, that's when we're learning. When we're happy, we're reaping the benefits of what we just learned, but we're not learning. So healing is learning. Healing is learning. Learning is, it sucks. It's hard at times. And if you don't have control of this, this is what's going to take you down. So understand that when I say go slow because it will make you heal faster, I mean that because I've gone through it, my clients have gone through it, and I've seen over and over again, there is not one person in the hundreds of clients that I've had, there is not one person who has taken it quick and fast and done all the things right away. Not one person has healed. They have crashed and they have burned, and I have never seen them again because they got overwhelmed and they didn't listen. Unfortunately, the type of people who are attracted to me and this group are the ones who share a very similar personality. We're badasses. We want to get shit done. You give us directions, we're going to get it done. I'm going to create a to-do list. I'm going to stay consistent. I'm going to do it every fucking day, and I'm going to heal because you said it can be done. So I'm going to do it. That's great. However, take this into consideration too. Part of that to-do list is giving yourself grace, giving yourself rest, and taking it slow and learning how to balance. Learning how to balance all this shit in your life and incorporating this protocol little by little so you don't overwhelm your brain and you don't overwhelm your body. Okay, so, I'm going to start with some questions now because I see there's a lot in here. I think it's all from Jessica, right? Let me just make sure here. Wait, I can see it better on my screen. I love that so much. I just had a conversation with my aunt and I couldn't work out why I reacted the way I did. She was challenging me on my perceptions and beliefs about how I need to heal. Massive trigger. I know when I go to see her next that I could be more aware of being triggered and how I react to it. Fuck yeah, she says. Isn't it amazing when the feeling that we get when we're like, I have options. And don't worry, you're going to react to people. Like even after this information, you're still going to react to people, but you're going to be more aware of what's going on in your brain when you're doing the reaction. And maybe later when you leave the situation, you're going to be like, why the hell did I react like that? Oh, I was triggered. This is why I was triggered, right? And then maybe next time you'll have less of a reaction because you'll notice the immediate feeling that comes up and you go, wait, why am I having an immediate negative reaction? Or in my case with my husband, wait, why do I immediately want to kill this man? Okay, I must be triggered. So I'm learning how to process these big emotions a lot faster so that I could avoid the 3-week long argument or silent treatment or, whatever the shit we do. All right. Jessica also continues to say that habit of what is that word? Catastrophizing. God, sorry. The habit of catastrophizing thinking. So incredibly powerful to be more aware of the thoughts and control them. That I probably should have started with 2 years ago when I started Minding Your Soul and the Starve Kill Detox Protocol. I really should have started with that information. I didn't know, though. I had to watch and learn myself how to work with groups of people and what is most important, because when I'm working one-on-one with somebody, I've noticed that they actually heal faster in a group setting. That is because I cannot provide everything to everyone. I'm only one piece of evidence, and that's not enough. It's not enough for anybody. You need multiple pieces of evidence in order to support the story in your head. So if you're trying to create, God, I wish I had a scrunchie around here. Or actually, let me just lower my heater. That might help. If you are trying to create a new story in your head, well, then guess what? One person's evidence is not going to help you create that new story, but the community of people around you, when you're in that group and you're hearing women say, oh yeah, that happened to me, or God, I feel so alone. I feel so hopeless right now. And another one chimes in and says, oh, I felt the same way. Yeah, you just upped your celery juice. Yeah, you're detoxing pretty hard. Fucking sucks, doesn't it? And you're like, yeah, it does. Thank you. Whereas, if you didn't have anyone to talk to, you're alone, you're sitting in your living room and you're like, oh my God, why am I getting worse? I don't understand. I increased my celery juice. I'm supposed to be feeling better. Why am I so emotional? One of my clients just did the 369 cleanse and I was like, oh, and she texted me. She's like, I'm on day 2. And I'm like, well, be prepared for the tears. It's an emotional cleanse. I think just as much as a liver cleanse, it's an emotional cleanse. And she's like, oh, I've already started fucking crying. I was like, okay. So she's like, I'm glad to know that that's normal. I'm like, oh yeah, it's, I cried, I feel like, for probably 8 of the 9 days. And the only day that I didn't cry was the first day. It's an emotional detox. And then if you look up, Medical Medium actually says you're actually detoxing who you used to be, because emotions and feelings are actually stored in our body, in our fat cells. And when we release all of the crap is actually encapsulated in a fat cell. That's how your body protects it. When we bring in, this is from my isogenics days, when I used to sell isogenics, my side hustle, when I was a single parent. And then it was backed up by the Medical Medium. But the cleansing, when we did the fasting, we would teach people that when your body takes in chemicals from everyday food, non-organic food, the air, we take in chemicals, your body goes, I don't know what the fuck to do with this. This is not food. How do I process this? How do I digest this? Right? It's like, I don't know, but it's fucking poison. It's going to take us down if we don't do something. So another part of your body goes, wrap it in fat, because no one can get to it in the fat. And if we can't digest this fucker out of our body, wrap it in fat, keep her safe from it, and go put it in cold storage. You know what cold storage is? Your ass, your thighs, and every place that you store fat. So when you're doing a cleanse and you're detoxing, you're releasing the toxins and you're releasing the fat cells. And guess what? There's emotions stored in those cells with the crap. And when you release the crap, you don't ever do anything on one level: physical, mind, body, soul. You don't ever do anything on one level. We don't know that. No one tells us this. We think, oh, we're going to do a cleanse. Okay, great. We're going to physically cleanse our bodies. No, you can't just physically cleanse your body. You're emotionally cleansing. You're cleaning out the emotions in the conscious mind, in the subconscious mind, all of that negative shit, and the soul is getting cleared. You're taking layers and layers of crap off of your soul so that your light, your energy, whatever you want to call it, can come up and be brighter than it was before when it was clouded with all of that crap. So keep in mind, when we're doing anything physical, you can never just do one thing on one level. That's not how the body works, which is why we always talk about the body, the mind, and the soul, which is why the group healing has Catherine, Matt, and myself: body, mind, soul. All right, let me go back into those questions. Okay. Is all or nothing thinking? Yep, that's me. Jessica, again, she goes, the quickest way to fuck this up is the all or nothing thinking. Yep, that's me. I know, Jessica, we're very similar. I'm 45 years old, and I would say just in the last 5-6 years, maybe 7 or 8, I started the transition. I was proud of my all or nothing personality. I talked about it. I bragged about it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm all or nothing. I'm either all in or I'm all out. I either hate you or I like you, hate you or I love you. I was so proud of that. And I didn't realize that was that was what was taking me down. It's the balance. It's the grace. It's the not everything is black and white. There's a lot of gray areas. It always comes back to our thoughts. And now that I know that we have control over our thoughts, not only do we have control over our thoughts, but we are the observer of our thoughts. We're not actually our thoughts. Most of those thoughts aren't our own. Think about a computer program. And think about it. We talk about subconscious programming, right? Because our brain is a computer. The program, the code gets written all through growing up. We're not even aware of what is getting programmed because it goes into the subconscious. Why we're built like this, I have no fucking clue. It goes into our subconscious. And then 95% of our actions are due to our subconscious thinking that we didn't have any control over programming. But guess what? You have control now because now you're aware that most of the shit that you do and think is caused by your subconscious programming. So now, in order to know what's going on in your subconscious brain, which by definition you can't because it's subconscious, it's below the consciousness, you can by looking at your reactions to things, your emotional reactions to things. And when you feel a big emotion, you're triggered by something that has been programmed in your subconscious mind. So you stop and you go, why am I having this reaction? And then you're going to go, I don't fucking know why I'm having this reaction. I have no frigging clue why I'm having this reaction. And then you do your research. Okay, well, let me see. People who react like this are usually traumatized by that. Go do your reading, go to your resources. Like I said, fill your brain with information so that you can change the story in your head, because the story, thoughts, emotions, symptoms. You want to make sure that you are in control of this story in your head. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Where are we going now? Mega late, kid appeasing. Who said that? I can't see who said that. Oh, that was probably Quinn. You're on here as Facebook user, but that sounds like how you would talk. And yeah, I was so late. My hair's flat because it's still wet. I was holding a sleeping child 10 minutes before I got on here. Nobody was home. And then my daughter walks in from the coffee shop and I'm like, oh, thank God. Kevin's late. Can you take Jackson? She's like, yeah, sure. So anyway, I'm glad you're on here. Oh, sorry, I'm late. Forgot your clocks haven't changed. They haven't changed yet in the UK. Sarah, you know what? I messed that up in my group coaching. I forgot. We in the US change our clocks 2 weeks before anyone in the UK. And we have 3-4 clients in the UK and one in South Africa. And yeah, that was all messed up last week. And that's my fault. I'm so sorry. You think I would have by now, because I had Monday, Tuesday, I think by Wednesday I would have remembered that. I'm so sorry. It is recorded though. So if you do want to go back to the beginning and listen, we talked about subconscious programming, resistance, the story, what to do when you're in a valley, and understand that you're going to get into a valley when you're healing anything. When we're talking about the protocol, when we're talking about healing the shit that's going on in our minds, we're always going to go into valleys because the healing, the learning is in the valley, not in the peak. The peak is where we just enjoy it. So removing the resistance to the flow. I know you've heard about this, and I can't speak very intelligently or educatedly about this. I can only tell you what I know and what I've seen in the clients that I've worked with and myself over the past 20 years, constantly evolving and reading and trying to understand why I think the way I think, how the body works, all of that stuff. It all comes down to, it seems like every single book out there, including Eckhart Tolle's, what's that called now? The Power of Now. It's like my handbook. It's over there in the chair every night. The Power of Now. It is the resistance that is going to slow us down, but we could recognize the resistance. When we stop resisting and we allow the information to come in, we allow the thoughts to happen, we allow the intuition, because we all know the answers to everything. It's called intuition. We know them. And when not all intuition is socially accepted, sometimes you're going to be called crazy or you're doing witchcraft. But if you're a mother and you're at the store and you call your husband and you say, is he crying? And he goes, yeah, how'd you know? I'm like, I felt it. Someone would say, oh, that's mother's intuition, completely acceptable. Okay, then why, when you have intuition about so many other things, are you called crazy? And it's not socially accepted. But understand that the same mother's intuition that is so much socially accepted, you have intuition about every single thing. You have all the answers. They're in your head. When you come across information, and I'm not saying that you have all information in your head, I'm saying you have the ability to go, that sounds right. That's what I need. But do you see how I used a quiet voice? Because intuition is always fucking quiet, right? The negative thoughts and the shit that we shouldn't listen to is always so loud. But that's another clue. If something is screaming at you in your head and it's at negative, then you know that's not your intuition. If you want to know the difference between intuition and fear, and I hear this a lot, I get this question a lot, how do you know the difference? Intuition is quiet. It's gentle. There's nothing to fear from the thoughts that come in from intuition. It's very easy, right? And that's how I'm talking, because that's how it comes in. The fearful thoughts, the one that you're like, wait, is this my intuition or is this just my fear? I can't tell the difference. The fearful thoughts are, you should do this. Why haven't you done this before? No, you absolutely need to do this. You know what happened if you didn't do this? Oh my God, why did you do that? That was the insanity that goes on in your head. That's loud. That is loud. It's pushy. That's your fear. So understand, when you are filling your head with information, you have to be in a place where you can hear your intuition, because your intuition is what we say, did that resonate with you? Oh, that resonated with you. That means your intuition came in and said, that is the truth. That is what you need. And it's very quiet. So the more you can expose yourself to information, the more shit is going to resonate with you, because you're going to automatically gravitate to the information that feels good, that feels like it's the truth. Think about how you ended up in Minding Your Soul, and why are you still in Minding Your Soul, right? Why are you here? Because the shit that gets talked about in this group resonates with you somewhere on some level in your body. You know your body's not attacking itself. You always knew your body wasn't attacking yourself, because when the neurologist said your body's attacking itself and you're going to end up in a wheelchair, fear immediately. Later on, though, you went, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sit well with me. My body's attacking itself. And then when you ask why, they go, oh, we don't know. What do you mean you don't know? My favorite is, we could put a man on the moon, but you don't know why my immune system is doing something? Are you kidding me? Now we know. Now we know it's attacking a virus. Now we have that information. But think about it. Why you're still in this group is because it resonated with you. You're like, yeah, that sounds like the truth. That sounds like something that I have been thinking for a very long time, but never heard it said out loud. That's the shit that you listen to. The information in the books, information in other groups, when it resonates with you, you lean into it, you lean forward, because it's something that you need. And I do say in other books and other groups, because you can't get everything from one place. You can't get everything from Minding Your Soul. You have to do your part to expand your knowledge base. And then if it's something that made a difference in your life, in your health or whatever, then bring it into Minding Your Soul, right? But don't just live here and be like, okay, this is the end all be all. Nothing is the end all be all. We're constantly evolving and growing. So you go out and you find information that really resonates with you, and then you bring it back into Minding Your Soul. And that's how I think we're going to evolve into the next wave of healers. Right now, the medical industry, they just discovered, or at least they're just admitting, that the Epstein-Barr virus is responsible for all autoimmune diseases, including MS. They're just now going, we think that there's a connection. Has it been published in a medical journal yet? No. And we're not sure when it's going to be, because that would require them to change the entire pharmaceutical industry and how we treat this, because it's no longer treating an immune system that's attacking itself. No, it's now treating a virus, completely different. And I don't know if there's enough money to be made in treating the virus, but I don't want to get into conspiracy theories. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I do want you to know that it's not that hard anymore to understand that we are the ones who are moving this information, not the medical industry. We need to keep moving this information, and the way we do that is we work on ourselves. We work on ourselves and we raise our vibration. By raising our vibration, we're raising our healing. We raise everything to become complete, full people, because then we are going to be attracted and attractive to other people who are looking for the information that we have. And then it's going to naturally, organically flow. And this information is going to spread across the world. And it's not about pushing this information down people's throats. It's not about saying, hey, you know what? You don't have to be sick. Here, you can heal. It's just a virus. You're going to sound like a crazy person. You got to do the work on yourself first and be the example so that people can say, wow, yeah, okay, she did it. All right, how did you do it? And then they become curious and they ask you questions. So that's what we're doing in Minding Your Soul. We're minding our souls. We are minding the matters of our soul so that we can heal on every level. And then we can help other people heal by sharing the information, just like what I'm doing here. Hopefully, this is what you're going to be doing. We already have a couple people in the group who started coaching other people and started their own business. So I'm just really hopeful that it just continues to grow and that we spread like a new virus, like literally a new virus. We're going to spread this information across the entire world and end the unnecessary suffering that is bestowed upon us in every freaking doctor's office. We are going to be the next new wave of, let's say, information instead of a virus, and gives people hope and say, yeah, no, it's absolutely possible. Come look at all of these thousands and millions of people who have healed themselves because we knew it was a virus and we knew how to kill the virus. So I feel like I'm going off on a tangent. Let me see if there's any questions before I get off of the call, because wow, 50 minutes went by already. I knew it was Quinn. Thank you. Hi, it's been action-packed and super informative. Worth the rewatch. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you. This is a new subject for me. And it's not as, it didn't flow as well as I wanted it to, but it was genuine. This is exactly what goes on in my head and what I teach in the path to healing. And I wanted to bring it over to Minding Your Soul because I feel like it makes all the difference. When you have this right, it makes all the difference in how you follow the protocol, how kind you are to yourself, the grace that you give yourself. That's what's going to keep you. Forget consistent on the protocol. You don't need to be consistent. You just need to, well, you do have the gluten. You absolutely have to be consistent on the gluten. Can't do that because every time you have gluten, we got to mark it down on the calendar again. And we got to start that 8-week count. Everything happens 8 weeks after you give up gluten. I'm telling you everything. I was talking to this woman. I'm going to lose my train of thought, but this is a more important story. I was talking to this woman. I felt so awful about myself because we had a consultation like 6 months ago. And I didn't remember much of what she said. And I hope I'm not giving too much away. I hope I don't insult anybody. She wasn't into it. She's like, I can't do that. I can't give up those foods. I really can't. So I didn't put a lot into it because I'm like, okay, that's your choice. I totally get that. I'm just giving you the information I know that worked for me, you know, what you were asking for. She's like, I'm definitely not giving up all of that stuff. I'm like, okay, all right, that's cool. You know, like, what can you say? So she stayed in the group. I guess something changed inside of her. She scheduled another consultation, a follow-up. So we get on and I'm like, I wasn't really looking forward to it too much because I'm like, oh no, I wonder what this is going to be like. Because she hasn't posted anything in the group, so I didn't know how she was doing. And all of a sudden she goes, Janine, something snapped. And I went gluten-free freaking 10 weeks ago. I went gluten-free 10 weeks ago, gluten-free, dairy-free, and egg-free. She goes, I haven't done anything else. She goes, I can move. I have the energy to do it. And I said, well, what made you change? Last time we talked, you said you couldn't remove those things from your diet. She's like, I heard how ridiculous I sounded. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, I didn't want to say anything. I was just going to let you be you and, you know, see what happens. She's like, I heard how ridiculous I was being. So I finally just said, you know what, I'm going to do it. And I slowly evolved into being gluten-free. She goes, it didn't happen overnight, but eventually it happened. I'm like, that's exactly how you do it. You don't just wake up one day and you're like, I'm going to be completely gluten-free. The pressure, the overwhelm that comes with that, it's pure insanity. You evolve into it. Each week you remove something else from your diet and you add something else in. Guys, if you've never heard me say this before, the first thing you do when you decide to go gluten-free for the first time, the first thing that you do is you find your comfort foods. You find the gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free version of your comfort foods and you stock your refrigerator, freezer, and pantry with them. Because everybody, no matter who you are, no matter what you are, you're going to have a fuck it moment where you're like, fuck it, I can't do this anymore. I need to sit on the couch and have ice cream for breakfast. So everyone has those moments. Don't think that you're anything special because you're not special, or we're all special. We all have the fuck up the fuck it moments where we just need to sit on the couch, binge watch Netflix, and eat a bucket of something. Sometimes it's ice cream for me. Sometimes it's popcorn for me with a lot of salt and a lot of chocolate chips. No, none of that is good for you. None. But guess what? None of it feeds the virus. So I do it when I need to do it. And it's okay. You can do that. You're not feeding the virus. You're not setting yourself back. If you're going to eat a loaf of bread that has gluten in it, no, don't do that. That's stupid. You're going to set yourself so far back. It's going to be so hard to get out of it. So find your comfort foods first so that when you're having a fuck it moment, day, week, whatever, you're prepared for it. And you can absolutely go through that week and eat whatever the hell you want in terms of comfort food, because you know you have them stocked, gluten-free, dairy-free, and egg-free. You are prepared for it. So hopefully I prepared you guys with enough information that if you haven't started the protocol yet, or if you're just starting the protocol, that this gives you enough emotional support. Sorry, I was reading while I was talking, and I was just reading one of the comments from Sarah. She says, I'm in a valley. I had to slow it down, and just doing the lemon water at the moment felt like I had the flu coming on. Very emotional with a sad face. Okay, Sarah, if you're still on here, because that was a little while ago, do you understand now what a valley is? Do you understand that you're not only detoxing the dead virus, but you're also detoxing old shit emotions that are stuck in your body that come out with all of the detoxing process? Do you understand that what you're doing right now is actually healing your body? You have to go through this shit to get out through the other side, to get out over to the healing. I always go back to, Quinn, I know how much you love this too. I always go back to the movie, The Shawshank Redemption. I came across that movie when I started my healing process. And remember how and if you haven't seen the movie before, this is a spoiler alert, so you might want to mute me for a minute. Hopefully you've seen the movie before. I think everyone has. It's like 20 years old. He escapes prison and he digs tunnels out, and he has to crawl through the sewer system, which is 2 football fields long of sewage, shit, other people's shit, and he's climbing he's crawling through it, 2 football field length of this sewer system, and he finally breaks free on the other side, and it's raining and he's free. And I feel like that's what the healing process is like. You probably get breaks from the sewage sometimes, but crawling through that sewage and just knowing that there is going to be freedom on the other side, there's going to be independence on the other side. Every time I watch that movie, my God, that scene brings me to tears, because I feel like it just depicts my healing process. And the reason why I do what I do now and how I do it is because I don't want you climbing through the 2 football fields of shit to get to the healing. I want to make this as easy as possible for you. I want you to understand what you're going through so that you don't beat yourself up, and know that it's normal. This is what it takes to heal. Because I feel like if you know that, then you can be like, all right, I'm an emotional wreck today. I feel like, shit, I have the flu, but guess what? I'm healing. I'm good. I'm okay. I know I'm going to be okay. This is just part of the process. Instead of the emotional downward spiral where you end up in the fetal position and you can't get out for 3, 4, 5 days, weeks, whatever it is. So hopefully that helps. And Sarah, so let me know if this information was helpful for you. Oh, there's more on here. Jody, that's true. I feel so much better after listening to you. Oh, Jody, I'm so glad you said that. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. If I help one person through the freaking valleys, it's worth it. The valleys are really hard. And to get to healing, you have to go through the valleys, and you have to understand that it's just a valley and it's part of healing. You're not getting worse. You're getting better. Quinn says your words hit all the logic receptors. I love how you speak. Thank you so much, Quinn. Thank you, right? And that's, I think, how I operate on a very logical level. Even on my emotions, I'm like, okay, are these emotions logical? Like, do they make sense? Where are they coming from? So I hear you. Very analytical, very logical. I think we're very much alike like that. Oh, Wanda, always feel better after hearing you and Matt. Always, right? Me too, Matt. I get so much from Matt. I learn so much from him. And hopefully I always give him credit and say, listen, I got this shit from Matt and it really works. And I try to explain it in my own words, but most of the shit, yeah, it comes from Matt. Quinn, I love rabbit holes. How I ended up here. No, seriously, right? The rabbit holes in our minds, you kind of just like go through and you're like, and then you watch this thought leads to this thought leads to that thought. And you're like, wow, this is fucking amazing if you have the time to do that. Cynthia, my neurologist says the EBV connection is a theory, a myth. Ha, she says, I quit him. I quit him. You know what though? He's probably an older guy, right? The neurologist is probably an older guy. What he's telling you was correct. It absolutely was correct. He's just not up to date on his information. 10 years ago, it was a myth. It was a theory. It was never proven. Before 2015, before the medical medium even said anything, it was always just like this idea. So the poor guy is like still saying the same information that he's been saying probably his entire career, which at one point was correct. It's just not correct anymore. And now they've discovered the connection. And if we're listening to Anthony Williams and we're doing what he's saying, it absolutely is a virus because we've been killing it and we've been healing. So it's funny. I quit him. That's awesome. I feel bad for them, because they're trying their best. But the information is just, one, it's not up to date. Two, it's not accurate anymore. Wanda, we need to quit them all. Don't do anything for me. I know, that's what I do. I don't go anymore because why would I go to the neurologist? The only thing that they have to offer you is drugs. So if I'm not interested in drugs, why would I go to the neurologist? Speaking though, I am making a list of all the neurologists in my area because I'm thinking of asking them if I could put business cards or brochures to say that I run a support group. I wonder if they would let me. I'll let you guys know. Just an idea that came to me yesterday that I've just been toying with. I'd love to get in and be able to talk to people who are newly diagnosed with MS just to give them some options. Not to say, hey, don't take medication. I'm just saying, listen, you have options. We don't take medication and we're healing. We've healed, we're healing. There's a whole community of people. Or you can take the medication, absolutely, but at least they have an outlet to talk to. So I'll let you know how that goes. Cynthia, abso-fucking-lutely. God, you typed that well. Abso-fucking-lutely. That's my favorite thing to say. I'm sure you probably already knew that. Quinn, I've been connecting with Brandon Grace, and that is definitely motivating and easier to push forward. Brother conquering, where did I lost it? Brother is conquering this bullshit. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. The more connections we make, the more evidence to support the stories in our head. Depending on what story you want to be playing in your head will determine the information that you go after. So you keep making those connections, keep putting the information in your head for the story that you want running in the background, because you are always in control. You're in control of everything. We just don't know it because we don't feel it. But if we understand where our control is and where we can get into our subconscious thoughts by understanding and recognizing and identifying that this is a reaction and I have a choice, this reaction is based on a subconscious program. Where's it coming from? How do I reprogram it? All right. I know I'm getting off on a tangent. Oh, Ginger, I'm so glad. She says, I definitely needed this call today. Ginger, she's been doing the work. My God, this woman is doing the work. She's been sick for decades. And she's the one who posts the videos of the walking and the dancing in the group. And she's currently in a valley. So I'm glad this helped today. And that's why I do this, because there's so many people who are healing out there who might not have access to this information. And they don't know that they're doing it. They're healing. Don't stop. Keep going. Mary says, thank you. Always a pleasure to listen to you. So energizing. Really? I don't feel like I'm energizing today, but I'm so glad. If that information energized you, I am so glad. This is why I do this. All right. Did I read everything? I don't want to miss anybody. Without keeping the disease secret, there would be no pharma. So it's not in their best interest to find a cure. Yeah, exactly. And I hate to go down that thought process. I do. I just can't imagine being a human, being a doctor, right? And a human helping other humans and not getting down to the root cause of why they're sick and just doing what I'm told and giving them drugs and giving them poison. I know. All right. It's 6:00. Little boy, I can hear him upstairs crying. I'm going to go. He's probably hungry. All right, guys, this has been great. If there is something, a topic that you're interested in hearing, just post it in the group. Otherwise, I go through what I see is coming up for my clients, and I talk about it in Minding Your Soul, or we go through the protocol, or we do a story of healing. If there is something specific that you're working through, struggling with, or would just like to hear more about it, then let me know in the group and I will add that to the list of contents. Because trust me, if you're thinking it, if you're wondering, there's probably a lot of people out there who are thinking and wondering the same thing. So thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I love Wednesday nights. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the group. And if you are watching the recording of this, because this is Wednesdays, 5 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're watching the recording of this, you can absolutely still comment. I still get the notifications. And then I'll be able to answer your questions too. Or if you want more, if you want a little bit more like one-on-one, go to mindingyoursoul.com. There's consultations, free consultations on there. And I am in the process of redesigning the Path to Healing program. You guys are going to laugh. You're going to love this. I saw a commercial for, if you're not in the States, you're not going to get this, but we have an insurance company called Liberty Mutual here in the States. And their slogan on their TV commercials is only pay for what you need, right? Insurance, only pay for what you need. You can customize your own insurance plan. And I was sitting there watching TV, feeding Jackson one time, and I'm like, that's what I should do. I should be something like, customize your own path, only pay for what you need. So I have been working on that little by little, and that's just like a little teaser. So I'm changing up the Path to Healing. So you only pay for what you need. I'm not going to use that slogan. I don't think I can, but it's going to be more customizable. So you can pick and choose, because I'm trying to give people exactly what they need or exactly what they want for the least amount of money possible, so that money is never your reason for not healing. I want everyone to have access to the information that they need. So everything in Minding Your Soul is all free. You can heal with all of this information. But if you want a little extra, if you want that coaching, there's a whole bunch of different options, and they're all on the website, mindingyoursoul.com. All right. I know I said I was done like a while ago. All right, now I'm done. It was great to see you guys. Great to talk to you. Thank you for all the participation. I really appreciate getting to know you. I love getting to know you and spending this time with you. So thank you very much. I will see you soon. Bye.